September 23rd, 2013 at 7:02 p.m. We'll go ahead and start the special meeting of the Buffalo Board of Aldermen that's set for tonight at 7 p.m. The first thing on the agenda is mayor's comments, and I don't have any. Next item on the agenda is citizen comments. Any citizen? Yes, sir.
I've got questions which is kind of like comments.
Okay.
Okay.
And your name, sir?
Ed Mayer. Okay, Saturday I go to Springfield to PetSmart and adopt dogs out for HFLCS, which is part of the dog pound.
You're the president.
I'm the president. I have people walk up to me that I may have met, don't have a clue who they are. And they say, "Oh, you're from Buffalo. That's where they're closing down the pound." I heard about that. I'm going, what? So my question, is it in the future plans of the city of Buffalo to close the city pound?
No.
Okay, is in the future plans of the city of Buffalo to make the city pound a kill facility instead of continuing to keep it a no-kill facility?
No.
I don't know how to answer that, because we don't intend to kill, but we don't intend to keep the animals there for 5 days.
Okay,
I don't know what you call that. That's,
you're wanting to not keep it there as long, but you're not just out and out, we're gonna 5 days, we're gonna kill them.
No.
No.
If somebody will take them, that's fine.
We're hoping to work
Okay,
with
yeah.
as many
After 5 days, you're
organizations as we
shipping them.
can.
we're hoping we
Good
can find
fight.
someone within 5 days to take it.
Okay,
You know, this all comes down to one thing.
money.
That's right. You know, whenever the budget's to be approved tonight, you're kind of ahead of yourself, but I'll be kind of ahead of myself.
Oh, yes.
When this budget was approved, 66% of the expenses of the general fund is labor. When you have to cut, to balance your budget, it's the only place you can cut, because you can't cut street lights, you can't say, I'm gonna give you water 3 days a week. Those things have to go on. So the only thing that's left out there to cut is labor, situations, and services we no longer need.
Okay, but it's not, because I am hoping that the lady from Reflex is here and she can say, hey, it's not in the plan to close, you know, hey, it's not,
She'll grab
she's
my
back
idea,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, we're going to do this, because I mean,
That's not in the plans.
I don't know where it got started, but I had people in Springfield ask me, and why do people in Springfield, because they know what's Buffalo, how it got come down there, it's out of hand, like anyway.
Did-
Now,
I'm sorry, did they ever say where they found out or heard from, or?
no, they just said they've heard it.
I don't believe anybody on this council's ever talked about any
No.
of those two questions you just
Never
brought up.
found anybody here on this council.
No.
Okay, now, my own personal question, that's ahead of myself, that's okay. The Reflex talked about budget cuts, right underneath there said, Dallas County got 9% more tax revenue last month than they had a year ago. And so for the year, the tax revenue is up 1% for the year over last year. Is the city running about the same amount, or are they not doing higher income from sales tax?
Debbie question.
I'd be happy to address that question. I don't know how the county does their budget. I know how our sales tax is coming in. And we're 10 months out of 12 of sales tax, and we have a whole whopping $12,000 over budget. So when you're looking at a $600,000 line item, $12,000 isn't very much.
But you do have more than you budgeted?
We have $12,000 over budget is what
Okay.
it's at right now.
Okay. Well, Lena,
But also the expenditures for the last few years have exceeded what the city has brought in. So
I'm just wondering, because, you know,
it came
the
to a point
city,
where,
the county made it sound like it's a big whoopee. They got, I mean, they got 1% increase, not very much, but just the way it put the Reflex, it sounds like they had a big increase for 1%.
They
I
don't
was
have
wondering
to
how the
provide-
city
They
did.
don't have to provide the water, sewer, law enforcement, fire departments. Those
Yeah,
are
they have
things
law
we have to,
enforcement.
they don't, no, they do not.
The
They
county
don't
doesn't?
spend 15 cents for fire departments.
Oh, but law enforcement,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not in, but they don't fire departments.
yeah.
They don't water, they don't sewers.
Yeah.
So we have a lot more expenses to take ours out of
Yeah.
in comparison than they do.
Yeah. Okay, I'm happy. I just had questions. And this is supposed to be the place to do it.
right.
Any other citizen comments? I see none. Next item on our agenda is the liquor license request for the Leaky Roof Meadery.
I move that we approve the
Is
liquor
this
license
actually
request.
$825 for fees?
Yes.
Oh, I think it's great.
Okay, there we go. I make a motion, we approve it.
I second it.
I'll call for any discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll call for a vote.
Larry,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Jess,
Yes.
Brandon,
Aye.
Wayne.
Next item on our agenda is police cars. I passed around pictures of some cars available. Officer Gann has gone up there, and who went with you on that? Jeff City, you guys looked at a couple cars that would best benefit the city. Since the time we've talked about the potentiality of buying a truck, and we can buy a Ford F-150 at state price like we did for the water department. And I guess I'll ask our officers here, would a truck be preferred to one of the vehicles, one of the cars?
I don't see it. A truck would be nice, but we don't use or need the truck that often, and when we do, we have it available to us through other resources like county. For us to patrol in a truck or just have it sitting waiting for us for winter, I don't think it'd be feasible when we would be using a car.
We're gonna be losing room for storage and supplies in a truck versus if we have a car.
And so you're the same opinion? Does the board have any questions of our officers?
And let me ask then, probably with the truck, probably gonna spend more in gas and more.
I'd say we get less gas mileage, yeah, but I don't know what exactly it would be.
Would you guys be more comfortable patrolling that car?
Yeah. And we have the gear for cars. We've got a shed full of equipment that will fit in a Crown Vic or in a pallet. We don't have anything for a truck. I mean, like it's ready to be sent.
Would it be okay if we tabled this and tried to have a budget committee meeting in between now and our next regular scheduled Board of Alderman meeting to maybe discuss some options for purchasing these cars? Because I'd hate to get in a hurry. And I had been presented with an idea that I would like to maybe at least give you guys some time to think about. Potentially not filling the position of chief of police currently and using those funds in that, in the budget to possibly purchase police cars. Just something we could consider.
And I think the long and the short of it, that after this budget's passed, I think we're gonna end the budget committee and cease those types of meetings. I think it's been a situation where we've had 3 aldermen on the budget committee and 2 other aldermen show up and take part in it. We're kind of doing it, although it's a public meeting, we're doing it outside of the whole.
They're all public meetings.
No,
They're just like anybody else.
I agree.
Well, then what's your complaint?
My complaint is these types of things need to be taken up right. For example, like that, I was in a jury trial and couldn't make the last budget committee. And no one asked me, hey, Andrew, I mean, just they were more concerned about your calendar than mine. And that's fine, but these are, big item things that the whole board needs to discuss, that the mayor needs to be present. For example, discussion's been to spend $120,000 to go down Locust and remove all the asphalt. When the mayor knew 2 months ago it wasn't necessary. I think that these types of issues are better prepared for the entirety of the board during 2 meetings that we need every month.
I think legally that any 2 members of the Board of Aldermen can call a special meeting. And I would move that we table this until we can schedule a meeting to discuss it in length.
We have a motion and a second. Or do we have a second? We have a motion and a second to table it. Any discussion?
We will come up with an idea of how we're going to buy our first meeting next month.
Right, our first meeting is the first meeting of the month, I believe. So we moved it, right? It's normally the second Monday of the month.
I'm
So,
sorry.
Yeah,
so
October
it's in
7th.
2 weeks, so. I think if we schedule one every meeting, then we can be more prepared.
All right, any further discussion on table? All right, I'll call for a roll for the vote.
Christie,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Jess,
Aye.
Larry, Brandon,
Aye.
James.
So tabled or moved to the next meeting. Next item on the agenda is bid award sewer rehabilitation project.
I'm sorry, do you mind if I ask something about the last? Do you have anything you want to add about if we are to purchase one or the other, or if we purchase both, or?
The biggest deal is really, as far as we're reserved for me, Scott to go look at, reserve them for you for 30 days. Are we gonna have an answer, or are we gonna have to check, make sure we got different cars that we can possibly get?
Well, we'll know one way or another, I assume, by the next meeting.
When's the next meeting, the first Monday or the
As
second?
far as
I think
those
it's the
cars,
first Monday of next
we
month.
got the money back on the Chevy, right? It was, okay. It wouldn't be,
The seventh.
I mean, if we just had one car and use that money from the wrecked one, it wouldn't be that big of expenditure.
So the Impala, it was 12.5, you're looking at the 55 for the wrecked car, it'd be 7,000, what the city would be coming up with
Yeah.
from somewhere. Okay.
And the other, the Crown Vic we have is the canine unit.
Yeah.
That's, you were in favor of once it breaks down, park it. And, we've had, power steering, issues, and I think I opted to invest $100 into getting the power steering leak fixed, but, that car is most likely on borrowed time, and probably need to upgrade. I haven't got a bid yet for the chief's former car, but it's not really anything we want to put on the road. It's low mileage, but it has issues.
More for driver and trainings and stuff is what I think the consensus is with
Yeah.
the department. The 81,
It's,
more like a train, could go to trainings and,
it's a commuter car.
So I'm of the opinion we probably ought to buy an Impala and a Crown Vic to replace the two that are going to be out of service. One because of a wreck and one because retired to them.
yeah.
There's one that says,
Three.
no, it's not, there's no vote to do that.
Things are still around.
30 days from when.
I might be able to call him, work something out, maybe hold him.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is though, we're gonna know in 2 weeks how.
At the most.
And you were out
At
there
the most.
a week ago,
Last Friday.
last Friday.
We're gonna know before 2 weeks, or should,
Okay.
how we're at least gonna get maybe the one, if not both. So,
Sound good?
if that's all right. Sorry.
Oh, of course. Next item is the bid award request. For the sewer pipe work.
We agree with that.
Well, we can't get to discussion until we have a motion. So I make the motion that we approve.
I second.
Have a motion and a second, I'll open the floor for discussion.
Debbie, this is the balance of the money left in the sewer fund.
In the bond issue proceeds, yes.
$324,000.
Yes, after you pay your engineering.
Right. It's gotta be done. My question was the change order. It's a lot of difference between the bid and the change order, almost $100,000. Why bid anything or not just issue change orders? But Debbie explained to me that the change orders are already pre-priced from the state convention, and so either if they run into something that falls in that category, that's what it's gonna cost. If they don't fall into anything, they're not out of expensive, but it's an underground factory. So we don't know if we've got collapsed lines, and we won't know, so that's the reason, the difference between the actual bid and how much it would be different for, the change orders. May not be that high, but that's as high as we go, and that's the reason it's, when I first looked at it, I thought, oh my gosh, that's $100,000, why bid anything, but it's all pre-priced. Above the 226,000.
And if you do all of the videoing that's been identified, it would take you up another like 70,000 right there. So that just, when he talked to you guys before, Jerry had explained that he wants to start videoing, and if they find a bad section, the contractor will call Gus. Gus will come down and look at the bad section on video, and then they can make a decision right then and there how to repair it, and all those prices are pre-priced in the contract for any kind of change that comes up.
What they videoed, have they fixed what we've found so far?
Well, there's the set price, the bid price is to fix what we found so far. The rest of the money will be spent on videoing, but if they find bad sections as they're videoing that need immediate attention, that the change order will be done so that they can go ahead and fix it while they're here. Because with these kind of big contractors, you've got mobilization costs. So if you just have them come in and do all the videoing, you're going to pay for another contractor to come back, and you're going to have to pay mobilization costs again. So we were trying to get out of having to do that. Does that make sense?
Is there any further discussion? I'll call for a vote.
Jess,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Brandon,
Aye.
Wayne,
Yes.
Larry.
That motion passes. Next item on our agenda is the revised budget fiscal year 9/30/13.
I move that we approve the revised budget fiscal year 9/30/13.
There's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second, I'll open the floor for discussion. Is there any discussion? All right, we have a motion and a second, no discussion, I'll call for a vote.
Wayne,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes.
Jess,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
All right, that motion passes. Next item on our agenda is the budget adoption fiscal year ending 9/30/14.
I move that we adopt the new budget for fiscal year 9/30/14.
Have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second
Have a motion and a second, I'll open the floor for discussion. Some questions I have, how much carryover are we gonna have for the end of this fiscal year in the general revenue?
Carryover or reserve?
Reserve.
The budget is $4,700 in the general fund.
And how much carryover?
The carryover that was included in this budget was $70,000.
So we went from 200,000 to, or 400,000 to 200,000 to, and what do we have now?
The $70,000.
And we're gonna carry that over
$4,700 is all we have budgeted in reserve.
for in this plan.
Uh-huh.
So we're going into deficit spending again for this fiscal year, is that correct?
I don't think
Yeah, I'm not sure how to, I'm not sure.
I don't think.
so.
The last two pages we have are capital improvement, sales tax fund, transportation sales tax fund, wastewater, expenses, sanitation, but we don't have a general revenue balance sheet, do we?
It's in the beginning.
Yeah, it's on page 8.
Okay, so we're $4,700 up, plus that 70,000 carried over, is that correct?
70,000 is the projected carryover remaining from the revised budget fiscal year ending 9/30/13.
Okay, now I'm with you. There's other issues I found in the budget. One of the things we're going to do is lay off our building inspector and pass his duties off to our fire chief. I've got here a book, and this is one of about 20 of these binders, and they're fairly detailed. I've taken the opportunity to years ago read through a few sections of this, and it's stuff that I don't really understand. Has anyone talked to our fire chief about his ability to be up to snuff on these, to take over these duties?
Yes, he said he could do that.
Okay.
He
And-
assured us before at a budget committee meeting that he attended.
And has there been any training or anything budgeted for this?
I believe he said he has the training to do it, is what he told us.
Where did he get the training to do that?
He just told us he has the training.
Well, I'm very concerned that we're replacing someone and adding additional duties to someone else who may or may not have the training, that was never verified, may or may not have time to do these types of things.
He can get another employee too.
No, I understand that, but I'm very concerned that we're taking a professional and replacing him with someone that's never done the job before. And I'm a little bit frightened by that.
I think part of the discussion was, we looked at how many building permits that the building inspector currently had done for the year, and it really, during the budget meetings, and I was only able to attend one of them, but the second one that I was able to attend, they had talked prior to about, is that something that we really need to, with only having a handful or 2 handfuls of building permits approved, is that something that they needed to?
Based on one part-time that knows what they're doing.
Well, I guess I was at the budget meeting Eric was at, and I guess I took his word. I had not talked to him before that. I had not talked to him after that about that. I merely just took him at his word that he had the commitment to do it.
The other thing I'm concerned about is, do we still have that $120,000 in here to redo Locust Street?
That would be in the transportation department. I'm not sure if you did that.
Looks like we were planning on having a reserve in the transportation fund, because I don't think there was a conclusive answer. I didn't
Right.
get that there was a
I think
conclusive
it was
answer.
just a discussion.
So,
Discussed.
yeah.
The motion is a discussion that we made.
But it's It's not in the budget.
It was not in the budget because it would have to be budgeted because there's adequate amount of increases
And I
that the council decided to do that. That was already.
I actually thought we had discussed this last meeting,
Yeah, we
last
did.
council meeting, and then we were gonna hopefully, hope King would come this next meeting and maybe advise us of.
From a practical standpoint, I think it's good part for because the budget is determine how much we're going to spend, not how we're going to spend. So,
And the third thing I'm a little worried about that's in this budget is we're going to be losing our animal control lady. And she has worked diligently for the city for quite some time. She's a professional, she knows how to deal with the Department of Agriculture. And we're gonna turn her duties over in as much as she deals with the Department of Agriculture to 2 part-time employees. Has anyone talked to those part-time employees to see if they have the capacity to handle that work? And the notion was to turn over the duties of animal control to our police department. Has anyone talked to the police department about whether or not they have the capacity or they're more than willing to handle those duties?
They're already doing it, so. They're already doing, I mean, they respond, it was on their police report that they respond to animal control calls, so.
Do you guys have the little catch loop?
We don't have the gear, but I think we could obtain
But the city has the gear, so if they're gonna take over animal control, I'm just saying that they would also get the equipment.
Does anyone in the department have training to do animal control, formal training?
that I know of.
They're already doing it.
Kinzer may have some kind of canine stuff that I don't know right now.
Okay. And I'm a little concerned that we're gonna completely nix that. And I guess the answer is no, we're not closing the town, we're just crippling it. And that's my observation.
Well, today she was called, this morning, I seen a lady called. She showed up about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. She left when we got the city cops to come down there.
How it goes.
She did do that, I seen that in fact, today. They did.
I mean, those are my observations. Are there any other public comments or any alderman comments regarding the budget? All right, I'll call for a vote.
James,
Aye.
Brandon,
Aye.
Wayne,
no,
Larry,
Aye.
Jess,
Aye.
Christie.
Budget passes. Next item on our agenda is public comments, citizen comments. Any citizen comments? Yes, ma'am.
I just had several questions, regarding the HFLCS rescue who is sponsoring the Buffalo City Town, for many, many years, I think about 14 years now. How will we find out as far as like, the process, once there is no more animal control, you know, how will we still be able to assist the community with our needs as far as like, how will we know, will the 2 part-time employees know like what animals have been there 5 days, or who's gonna, you know, my concern is communication, so we can continue to provide our public service.
I don't believe that was ever contemplated.
Well,
Has the budget committee contemplated any of the ins and outs of?
I would love if we could somehow with HFLCS, if there could be a contract similar to what we have with the YMCA, where there's some clear guidelines on what is the responsibility of HFLCS and what is the responsibility of the city council.
Have they-
So-
I mean, I don't know.
No,
Never been
So we never had a contract, that's what I did.
No.
And I
We looked
think
back
that,
till 2005 in the minutes and to try to understand how it's evolved to the situation that we're in now, and we couldn't really see anything on the minutes that we looked at. So, as far as funding, we felt that this was the most that we could do as far as the city goes. And I encourage HFLCS to continue to do everything that they can do. I mean, if the city doesn't govern HFLCS, so there's nothing saying that HFLCS cannot continue doing what they're currently doing. And I would.
We're not gonna be banned from that.
No, absolutely
You
not.
have-
And
with
I-
or without a contract, I just think we had a contract for years, I didn't know.
I would be
But-
happy
but
to
you-
volunteer my time to help
Okay.
straighten things out and try to come to a mutual agreement
Okay.
that works well for both parties.
Okay.
Is there a way that if we don't have someone, we don't have someone within the first 5 days that you have a dog, okay? But we find someone that we know we're gonna have available within the next 2 or 3 days, is there a way we can ask you to hold an animal longer? I mean, you're saying 5 days,
The problem I have is that
that's not even enough.
our facilities are not set up to house animals for a long period of time.
I know.
And there's an animal that has been there for 9 months, and we're just, that's sad.
5
Not doing the
days or
animal
7,
any good.
I think that where you're at, is 5 days or 7 or 8 days is not a biggie. 9 months, too long.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I mean,
And I don't
you're
think
saying,
that
we'd
anyone,
like to have them out in 5 days. If it took us 10 days to find a home, you wouldn't have him put to sleep while you're waiting on us to do it.
and I don't think the city plans to put any dogs to sleep at all. That was
But, I
never
mean, you know what I'm
discussed, that was
saying?
never.
5 or 6, 7, we can shoot for 5 days, but you'll work with us.
But there
I
are-
think that from the city standpoint, is that we need a written understanding
Yeah.
of what you want, and what you expect, so everybody knows what playing field we're on and make it level. But it's been kind of an up and hill down, we don't know where everything is. We do know that, according to Brandon, that you have made financial contributions there.
Or we're the ones.
But
that
we're not
provide.
sure what you did and what you didn't do. We don't know what you paid for and what we paid for. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Bills wise and
It
other
just
things
needs to
like
be
that.
down, written black and white, so everybody knows where they're at. So it's good.
I assumed it had been done, you know, I've only got here the first year, but I assumed that had been done years ago.
Because I've been told,
Yeah.
Ed, that the city pays nothing in the way of medical expenses for the animals out there. And I mean, if you guys could get a copy of the report that we get every month, or, you know, we do pay for medical expenses for the animals out there. I don't know where that came from, but.
You pay basic medical, but you don't pay for the spay and neuter and. that
Sure,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, you do.
And I think that
you
was
pay basic
probably
medical
maybe an
from the
agreement,
city.
yeah, and I think that's probably an agreement by word of mouth maybe between the city and HFLCS. I don't know, and that's great, and we do appreciate, even though sometimes it doesn't sound like we do appreciate everybody with HFLCS and what they're trying to do for the animals, and that's what it all boils down to with the animal, the pound here in the city is the animals, not anything else but the animals. So we don't want to, there's been no talk, like we said, of anybody up here wanting to kill the animals. And the 5-day thing, I think it's kind of getting
I
taken
think
out of
that's the
context. That's
minimum.
Well, that'd be a
minimum.
good ground, that'd be a good
Because you
ground
have
to
to-
shoot for.
Well, that's what we have, they
Yeah,
have to
you
be
have to-
kept there for
Yeah.
5 days.
Yeah.
And I think
5
that
days
was
a day.
taken out of, yeah.
Right.
It's not that I don't think nobody up here would be concerned over a few days or
Well, I was
even,
just,
Right.
we go
Yeah.
every weekend to PetSmart with dogs.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, if we can get them down there, I mean, we have fosters that are actually in Springfield that we can get them spread out
Sure.
to down there.
Common
So that
sense.
would be Saturday,
Right.
and that's, yeah, it sounds great. I mean,
you know.
I appreciate,
We need help.
Yeah.
I think that's what Chris is saying.
Well, I think that everything does need to be in writing,
Right.
because everybody assumes that, well, I assumed everything was already wrote one before, but I never saw it, but, it'd be nice if we had rules to go by,
Right.
yeah.
This is not Baldwin where they go 5 days in the dog. We know that, okay. The city does it, 5 days.
Common sense.
Never mind.
You know what I'm saying, you know what I'm
I
getting
don't
at.
want to trouble
So that it
you.
would be someone available that could be the contact, say with Ed, and like really keep communications open, so we know our animals that we bring over there, our property,
Sure.
but they're still being held there till we can really type in.
That's a problem that we've had, is that if these animals are the property of HFLCS, they need to be in your custody. It's to avoid confusion and they, to just have clear boundaries.
They
I
are.
mean,
They are.
they haven't been.
They are,
My understanding is they haven't been.
they are. I'm there now, every Friday, they are. The
Yeah.
animals that are there right now are part of the pound.
That's what I've always been told.
We are actually, as of tonight, we're probably gonna start transferring them over to HFLCS and get them in foster care. We have,
Yeah, that's good.
because we, we didn't know where we were gonna stand. We needed to know where we stand. The trailer, I know the trailer belongs, the trailer that's out front, well, it's HFLCS, so, we'll do whatever we gotta do. We just need to know how much time we have, if we were to need to remove anything from the property.
I don't think anything needs to be removed, we need to quit spending all this money ourselves from it, and everybody needs to know what kind of, who's doing what, and what
Because
belongs
you're
to.
not- I mean, the city's not objecting to the trailer being there or anything, because we use that for our office. Well, I mean, nope, the thing comes out in the paper, and nobody knows what's going on, and everybody's scared. Everybody thinks worse, that's human knowledge, or human nature.
It was a
You don't think
preliminary budget until such time as passed by the council.
And the story was written on, based on public minutes from a public meeting. I mean, it's just, I felt like it was a very responsible story. It was done
Oh,
well.
it is,
So-
you can read into it whatever you want.
Especially if people are telling you.
I'll be glad to help Christian down with the cast, I'll be glad to help you too.
I'd be happy to volunteer and help organize and do whatever we need to do to make sure that it runs smoothly. I don't know exactly what the answer is for every little
I don't know
question.
what paperwork involved, but I know there's paperwork that has to be done.
I know
And somebody's gotta figure that out.
there's a lot of paperwork that I'm sure HFLCS has to, but the paperwork for HFLCS is not the responsibility of the city.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is the city
The
has
city,
to have
right.
paperwork on everything,
Yeah.
picked up, put in the town,
Right.
kept, and when put in the town, I know it does have to have some medical treatment, which is what you gotta pay for. And you have to keep track of that, but I don't know what paperwork is, but you guys do need to find that out and make sure the part-timers know what it is.
And the part-timers
So
are
you don't wanna
part-time,
get self-abused.
they're part-time kennel cleaners.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to learn how to do Department of Agriculture reports and take forms.
Keep attention.
Yeah.
Well, Lynn's got a week and a half to teach them everything they need to know. So they can do it on a part-time basis. Got two part-time people that are working hard, then they're gonna get stuck with a full-time job. We had 80 man-hours divided between 3 people, now it's divided between 2.
So, real quick, the only thing that in my brain is when we first started, you guys had said, the 5 days and then we'll ship them somewhere or whatever. And as we started discussing verbally, it was, well, the 5 days is, we'll work together, common sense, we'll work something out, so.
And I think
I'm
that's,
now, there was 2 things.
I don't
so
think that it's an exclusive relationship with HFLCS. There are other organizations that the city can work with to help adopt these animals out. And I think that one of the problems we've run into in the past is that it's been kept exclusive and we've not been able to seek help outside to other organizations that adopt animals. And we need to do that because we've not been able to keep up with the volume.
have we acquired help from any organization prior to this going into place?
Springfield Humane Society is one of them that had offered to take animals. It's $10 more an animal for dogs. I don't know.
But there's
if
a
it's
waiting
the same for
list.
cats.
There's a waiting
There
list.
can be a waiting list.
And they are killed,
There are children.
definitely.
But do we have anything in writing from them that each details, what their policy.
Lynn was supposed to take care of that.
She told me that she's gonna transfer dogs there once the wait time was up, but we were no longer.
This was a couple meetings back that Lynn was supposed to be seeking out alternatives.
And she did. But we don't have anything. Are there any other citizen comments? Yes, ma'am.
I'm one of those part-time people that work at the pound. Who do we answer to? We do need rules. We need help.
Right.
I guess you answered to me. Have you seen the movie MASH? Do your damnedest and hope we don't
You
get fined
know,
too much.
who are we to call if I've been there on a Saturday where the power's gone out and the generators have come on, and I've had to call to try and find out who's supposed to come fix it. Pipes bust and the floor is flooded. Who do we call? I mean, I'm willing to help, and I wouldn't be there if I didn't love animals, believe me, because I put in way more hours than I paid for. But we need somebody to answer to.
And that's
Somebody.
the mayor. The mayor's the supervisor, the head.
That's all I want to
personnel.
know. I mean, if there's problems or there's an emergency, we need to know that we can call somebody to get help if we need it. You know, we can't be calling the police department if the pipes break, or you guys are
You can
busy.
call our dispatch, it's a non-emergency line, and
Okay.
they will route you in the right direction, I would
Okay.
say.
Not call the water department, if by the break.
Any other citizen comments? Jamie, do you have anything? All right. Debbie, on our agenda, we were gonna close for, we were gonna have a closed meeting for, real estate, but that's not on here.
I guess I missed that. When,
We discussed it at the last meeting. Well, why don't we go ahead and put that on the next, agenda.
yeah, although while I'm finding in the minutes, as Christie suggested a table until the engineer can tell us, how to resolve the issue. And that was from the 9-9 minutes.
Okay.
So I will put that on the agenda for the 7th.
Yes, ma'am. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second that motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Larry,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Jess,
Aye.
Brandon,
Aye.
Wayne.
Meeting is adjourned.
I had to wait and vote no.